Hey everybody, you're watching Ready Set Drone, and today we have another e-bike to review. It is the Obsidian from Mokwheel, and it is a big, beefy bike. We had a lot of fun with it over the last few days. We want to show you what we did, and we're going to tell you all about it, so stay tuned.
Hello!
Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you that Mokwheel did send me the Obsidian. However, they had no say in this making of this video. I got the specs and stuff from their website, and then the rest of it is from actual experience riding the bike, which we did a lot of. We rode this bike off-road, on-road, to go get lunch, to ride up here to the office, to the studio, to do some shooting, to do all kinds of things with this bike. It's very versatile. And I will tell you, my first impression of it is, first of all, it's a very good looking bike. I really like the color scheme on this thing. There are 3 different color schemes. I think there's a red and black, a yellow and black, and a camo version that you can get. I really like the yellow and black. Looks really sharp. We assembled this in about an hour. I will tell you, anytime you're gonna assemble an e-bike, you wanna have a friend, someone there to help you with, because if you try to do it by yourself, there's just a lot of places where you need somebody to hold something or lift something, and it makes it much easier if you have 2 people when you do the assembly. Once we got it assembled, we took it out for an initial ride just around the neighborhood, and I gotta say, my first impression was it feels so solid and it feels so strong and big and heavy, like you're riding in a tank, but a really fast tank. Now, this does have 3 of my favorite essentials in an e-bike. One is a big motor. It's actually a 1,000-watt motor, which is one of the bigger motors I've tried in an e-bike. I've ridden a lot of 750s, I've ridden a couple of 500s, and I will say that with a 1,000-watt motor, with a heavy bike and a heavy guy like me, it gets you going. It'll take you up hills, it'll take you wherever you want to go. It also has a torque sensor, which means that instead of just going when you pedal, it will give you a little bit of power as you start to pedal. It is a far step ahead of a cadence sensor, where it just goes to 1 speed as soon as you start pedaling, depending on where you have it set. There's no variability based on how much you pedal. So the torque sensor is a great thing. And then finally, for a bike of this weight, the hydraulic disc brakes are essential. The hydraulic disc brakes give you that stopping power from a lot of momentum and a lot of weight, because you can get going fast. And again, I'm a heavy guy, it's a heavy bike. I think it weighs about 77 pounds, which is pretty heavy for the bike by itself. And it has a capacity to carry up to 400 pounds on it. So you could have a lot of weight going, and you need those hydraulic brakes to get you stopped. And I had no problem stopping in both trail riding and on road riding. So the battery is a 48 volt, 19.6 amp hour battery, which is supposed to give you between 60 and 80 miles of range, depending on how hilly it is, how heavy you are, how much weight you have on it, and actually how much you pedal. But I don't really see a time when you would ride this thing 60 miles or more unless you were taking it on some really long trip. Right now, I feel pretty confident that you could get at least 40 or 50 miles out of it pretty easily, even if you're a big guy like I am. And speaking of being a big guy, the 4-inch tires and the full suspension really make this bike comfortable to ride. It's got a lot of give, and it bounces with you when you're riding. There is a guide in the book that comes with the bike that tells you how much PSI you should have on your front and your rear shock based on how much weight you have and how stiff you like the bike to be versus softer. But it felt kind of soft to me, but that was actually pretty nice because we rode a long way yesterday and I really felt like that softness made the ride a lot more comfortable. Also, the big tires, those always absorb a lot more shock than the thinner tires. They feel good, that you can go over things. You feel like you have a lot of momentum and power and durability with those tires. What you maybe give up is a little bit of agility, ability to make quick turns. Although I was able to do some pretty tight figure eights. I was able to ride in a straight line across a little speed bump and stay on top of it. I was able to go over some rocks and curbs and stuff like that, and the tires did just fine. A couple other features that this bike has is, number one, it's an aluminum frame. So while it is a heavy bike, the frame is not that heavy by itself, but it's a very beefy, strong aluminum frame. Number two, it's got Shimano Altus gears, derailleur in the back and gear shifting, and it's got 8 gears, 1 sprocket in the front and 8 in the back, so you can change between them. And it was interesting to figure out where that sweet spot was, which gear I wanted to be in while I was pedaling and using the pedal assist at different levels. I experimented with that a lot and actually found that when you ride in a higher gear, like gear 5, 6, 7, or 8, and in a lower speed, you keep the torque engaged more, and therefore your motor is more consistent. If you ride in a lower gear, like 1 or 2, it tends to give you a little bit of power and then you're coasting, a little bit of power and then you're coasting, and that actually feels a little bit jarring. You have to kind of rethink the way you ride with an e-bike versus a regular bike. But I definitely found that you could experiment with it, and the gear shifting was very smooth. I went over a lot of rocky stuff. I had to climb up some things where I was shifting gears right before I got to a climb or a descent, and it did just fine. Altus is one of the lower end offerings from Shimano, but I think it's still a pretty good quality derailleur and gear shifting system.
Yeah, wow, that was still difficult, but I've probably, on a regular bike, probably made that 1 out of 3 tries when I was in better shape.
A couple of other things that come with the bike are a front headlight that's integrated into the bike. You can turn it on and off from the main power switch, and then there is a rear tail light that is just its standalone thing. You recharge it, it's got its own battery, and then you just strap it onto the bike if you need a tail light. While I like having a kickstand and I like having fenders, if you want to ride it off-road, having that extra weight, first of all, is not necessary. Most real mountain bikes don't have a kickstand or fenders or a tail light or any of that sort of thing. So if you're going to ride it like a real mountain bike, you could consider removing the fenders, the tail light, and the kickstand to save a little bit of weight and just have a little bit less stuff to get in the way as you're riding. But for commuting and stuff like that, it is nice to have the fenders. They're very lightweight plastic, and they actually don't rattle. I've had a few other bikes with fenders that rattle as you go along. This bike is fairly quiet with the exception of the motor noise. It's fairly quiet as you ride along without any rattles or shakes or anything like that, which makes you feel very confident on this bike, even if you're riding downhill at a pretty high speed. So I have to say, after having ridden this bike for a little while, it is one of my favorite e-bikes that I've ridden so far. It has the 3 things I like, which is the bigger motor, the hydraulic disc brakes, and the torque sensor. It feels solid, it looks really good, it doesn't rattle, it gets you where you want to go. Is it a true mountain bike? No. Can you take it off-road and bash it a little bit? Yes, you absolutely can, and we did that. But I'm not planning on using this to go ride heavy-duty trails like I tried yesterday with it. I'm planning on using this just an all-around rider that I feel confident going up and down curbs, sidewalks, bike trails, that sort of thing, and getting me from point A to point B safely and with some style and having some fun while I'm at it. I want to do more videos about this bike because I feel like this bike is a pretty sweet spot in terms of price, in terms of performance, and in terms of the quality of it. It's not the best components, but for the price, it's actually pretty good. I'd love to know what you think about the Obsidian. There's a lot of videos out there about it, and it seems to have a good buzz. based on what you saw, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have questions. It means a lot that people watch not only our drone videos, but our other videos as well, things like e-bikes, because we love all those things. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Ready, Set, Drone.
Yeah, you're getting your workout today.